Hi, this is Leo. Welcome to the Caitos Nutrition Show. Today we're going to talk about nutrient timing. And what exactly nutrient timing is and why we want to apply it to our diets and our training or exercising in the gym. So I'm going to split this podcast up into two different sections. The first part is applying nutrient timing to our diet. And usually people are trying to lose weight or body fat, and I teach my clients how to apply nutrient timing. So as you know or don't know, there's only 3 nutrients in food: protein, fats, and carbohydrates. So what we're doing essentially is timing nutrients, protein, fats, and carbs, certain times a day to do certain things. So if a typical client's diet that I'll do is, I would say, high in protein, low in fat, and the carbohydrates are the nutrient that gets altered or played with the most. So when we're talking about carbohydrates, what we're doing is we're timing carbohydrates. We are choosing certain carbohydrates and certain amounts of carbohydrates. So the amount of carbs, the timing of carbs, and the kind of carbs. So give you, for instance, this is an average person that comes to me. They're trying to lose, let's say, 40 pounds. And their diet was pretty much high in carbs. That's why they're 40 pounds or more overweight. So like I said, we're going to leave the protein high all the time, and we're going to keep the fat low all the time. But that C word, carbohydrates, that's the one we're going to focus on the most. So we're going to time carbohydrates certain times a day to do certain things. So let's talk about the amount of carbs. The amount of carbs can vary significantly with everybody and anybody. There's people that need low carbs, some people need moderate carbs, some people need high carbs, some people need no carbs. Okay, it's a very, very individual thing. But this is for the average person. The average person is going to get moderate to low carbs. So what we're doing is we're going to keep those carbs probably 100 grams or less a day. And we can tweak that higher or lower as we go, but that usually means 2 carbohydrate meals, maybe 3 throughout the day. So that's the amount of carbs. We're controlling that. And the kind of carbs, meaning the carbs that don't spike insulin levels. Okay, carbs that are going to cause slow sugar or glucose release in the bloodstream, and they're technically called low glycemic carbs. So what we don't want to happen is we don't want to surge insulin from high glycemic carbs, because insulin is a fat storing hormone, and it could be very, very detrimental to somebody who's trying to lose weight. So we're choosing low glycemic carbs. We're talking about the amount of carbs, keeping the carbs fairly low to moderate, and then we're timing the carbs certain times a day. So what I would do with a typical client is give them a carbohydrate, probably with meal number 1 and meal number 2. Meal number 3, it's an individual thing. It depends. So if they get up at, let's say, 6 a.m. in the morning, they're going to have a carbohydrate then. Sometime 3-4 hours later, have another carb, and then 3-4 hours later, maybe another carb. But what we're doing is we're cutting the carbs off early in the day, early afternoon, noon, 1 o'clock. That's it. No more carbs for the rest of the day. Anybody that consumes carbs late in the day, specifically, after dinner time, at night when you're the least active, you're going to store them as fat. So that's people's probably biggest mistake is carbohydrate timing, consuming carbs late in the day. So like I say, we're going to give you that carb for meal number 1 and 2, maybe for 3. And what that's going to do is that's going to put gas in your tank. That's going to give you lots of energy to have a good productive day. Your brain technically functions or runs off of carbohydrates, usually 40 grams of carbs a day it takes for your brain just to run right. So that's going to give you good cognitive brain function, lots of focus, lots of energy, give you a good productive intense workout. But late in the day is when you want to cut the carb, or you don't want to consume carbs. We're cutting them off early afternoon. So there's your nutrient timing. We're timing specifically carbohydrates, but protein is going to be kept high throughout the day. The fats are going to be kept low, and the carbohydrates are going to be manipulated in the way we just talked about. So nutrient timing is absolutely vital for dieting or losing fat, and it's also vital for gaining muscle. So that's going to bring us to the next section of this podcast, is nutrient timing for gaining muscle or getting stronger. So basically what you want to do, the mentality you want to have is you want to be in an anabolic state from morning till night. And the word anabolic means experiencing muscle protein synthesis. Okay, the opposite would be being catabolic, which means experiencing muscle protein breakdown. So being in an anabolic state means you're going to be building muscle, and the opposite in a catabolic state would be losing muscle. So we want to have the mentality, the mindset to be in what's called an anabolic state every waking minute of the day. And what that means is you want that cell, specifically that muscle cell, to be full of protein or amino acids. Okay, so here, do a little visualizing with me here, and this is just microscopically speaking. If you've got 20,000 muscle cells in your arm, or specifically your bicep, and the muscle cell is made of protein and water, about 70% protein, 30% water. So what happens is you eat, let's say, a chicken breast, and your body breaks that chicken breast down, derives the protein or amino acids, and it sends them via blood to the cell. Okay, but what happens is throughout the day, your body uses that protein, so it depletes the amino acids or protein as fast as you can replenish them. So that's why it's smart to eat a good protein source about every 3 to 4 hours, so it helps you stay in an anabolic state. So having the mindset of being anabolic from morning till night, the worst thing anybody could do is skip meals or go long periods without food, because you're in a catabolic state. So for a typical client, I'm just going to say that I'm going to have them eat 5 times a day. It could be 4, could be 8 meals, but we're just going to kind of choose in the middle there. So an average person that eats 5 times a day, if they get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, they want to eat right away. So what I do is the first thing that I eat put in my body every day is a protein shake. And of course, we've talked about this, the right protein shake. 99% of proteins are garbage. They don't work. They're inferior. So choosing the right protein is vital. So if we get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:01, I'm downstairs making a protein shake. So going back to nutrient timing, when we wake up in the morning, we are in a severe catabolic state. That muscle cell is completely drained from our body using the protein overnight. So we want instant replenishment. So we want something like a very fast absorbing protein, like a hydrolyzed protein, to be absorbed immediately. So what we're doing for meal number 1 is having that protein shake to flip the anabolic switch on and fill that muscle cell with amino acids. And then throughout the day, we're eating about every 3-4 hours a good protein source to, once again, keep those amino acids full in that cell, excuse me, and stay in an anabolic state. So we have the protein shake as meal number 1. Then you have your whole food throughout the day. Okay, your protein, if you're having carbohydrates or a little bit of fat. And then all the way until evening, what we want to do is eat close to bedtime. And I know a lot of you are thinking, is he crazy? Eat before I go to bed? Yes, absolutely. We want to go to bed with that muscle cell filled so our body can use that protein throughout the night. So we're not eating mac and cheese or a pizza or burger and fries. We're having usually just a good protein source and maybe a vegetable. And if you don't believe me, I want you to try this. Go to bed on an empty stomach. So let's say dinner was 6 o'clock and you're in bed by 10. Technically, your stomach's empty. Go to bed on an empty stomach, and I guarantee you will wake up not hungry. Go to bed on a full stomach. So if you ate dinner at 6 and you're going to go to bed around 10, maybe 9 o'clock-ish, have another meal. And maybe not a giant-sized portion, just something, some type of protein to put in your stomach to feed your muscles in your body throughout the night. So what's going to happen when you wake up in the morning? Well, during the night, you're going to experience hunger pains. And in the morning when you wake up, you're going to be starving. And it means that your metabolism worked through the night. Your engine was kept on throughout the night. And that protein was fed to your muscles and certain body parts that needed it. But then you're gonna look in the mirror and go, wow, everything's leaner, tighter, smaller. You lost fat. You lost a little bit of weight overnight, and then go step on the scale and you're going to be half a pound, quarter pound, maybe a pound lighter. So it's a very effective thing to do, is to eat close to bedtime. Gaining muscle and getting stronger on a consistent basis. So I hope this video educated you, and start applying this. Start applying nutrient timing to your diet, and start applying it to your goal of adding muscle and getting stronger. I guarantee it's going to be a game changer. So thanks for listening. Please subscribe and share to the link below, and give this video a thumbs up.